Says we're streaming. You said it's on the Facebook page. All right. Yep, there we go. We're live. How about that? Show and stream. Let me get you on the screen right here. It's on the Facebook.
Got you.
All right, good deal. And just got to tell everybody we're live again. What a cluster, man.
Right? That's what happens when you get some bunch of country boys trying to work out technology.
I'm telling you, man, let's just go back to fishing and forget about all this stuff. Shoot. All right, let's see.
That's what I'm talking about.
We'll give everybody a few minutes to get some folks on. All right, well, this is a new app that we're using. I don't think I've ever used this one before. We're having problems with the regular Facebook Live app, so we'll try to make this work. There we go. Got people watching. Good deal. All right. All right. So, all right, everybody. Finally, after 48 minutes of technical problems, I got my buddy Bassmaster Elite Series Pro, Sportsman's Outfitters Pro, Bruin Outdoors Pro, along with Yamaha, Kaisek, Carhartt, and many others.
Right.
Mr. Caleb Sumrall. How you doing, buddy?
Doing good.
Doing good. All right. Before we get started, everybody go like his page. It's Caleb Sumrall Fishing. Easy to find. He's going to be posting some more videos. He's got some up now. He's going to be posting some more videos.
Yep.
Going to be doing that on Facebook. Going to be doing a YouTube channel here pretty soon. Going to be exciting stuff, man. We're anxious. We're anxious to see what's going on.
I'm anxious to get started, and man, I'm chomping at the bit, dude. All this sitting at home is it's for the birds. I know everybody else feels the same way.
Yep, absolutely. So before we get started into the questions and everything, let's talk about what we're going to be doing today. Of course, we're going to be just asking you some questions, kind of talking about fishing a little bit, and then everybody who comments on the video, likes the video, shares the video, we're going to put them in a drawing at the end of the day to win a couple of prizes.
Awesome.
And the biggest prize we're going to be giving away is a brand new Bruin reel in your favorite gear ratio, 6:2 to 1.
That's right.
All right. Along with that, there's a picture of there's the reel. Well, look how shiny and new that thing looks.
It's a bad dude. I've been fortunate to have my hands on it for a few weeks, 3 months.
Yes, sir.
And
we're gonna give those away. We're gonna give away some Cajun Boss stuff. I've got some spinner baits and some swim jigs here for everybody.
What I'm talking about.
We're gonna have a winner for that, and we're gonna do a Spro and missile giveaway also. So we're gonna have 3 winners today. Somebody's gonna get some Cajun Boss. Somebody's gonna get some Spro, and somebody's gonna get a brand new Bruin reel that hasn't even been released to the public yet. So, like I said, ask questions. I'll try to monitor the Facebook questions. Like I said, this is a different app that we're using, so this is kind of new to everyone. We'll get started right here. So before we get into it, Caleb,
yeah,
just I guess with everything that's going on in the world right now, how are you and your family doing? I mean, everybody healthy over that way?
Yeah, man, we're good. I mean, we're fortunate enough to be pretty. I don't want to say too remote. I mean, we're in a country, right? So I mean, it's nothing to. I go put gas in the boat, and we're at the lake in 5 minutes. And I'm just cautious around the pumps, and it just gets us out the house. And so that being able to do that has been huge to my household being sane through all this mess. So
Right.
we've been handling. We've been going out in the boat 3, 4, 5 days a week, just sometimes just for a couple hours, just to get out the house, and that's pretty much what we've been doing.
Good. So I guess we're hearing a lot of places. Of course, it's not happening in Alabama, but I got some buddies over in Mississippi, and then in some other areas that they aren't able to fish right now
Right.
because the public access has been closed to the boat ramps. So I guess you're fortunate enough in Louisiana where you're still able to get out on the water and do what you love.
That's right.
Uh, So what's the I guess right now what's the latest as far as the elite tour, everything's been postponed, some things have been canceled. What's going on with the schedule right now? Have they given you guys any information?
Yeah, I mean, it's a day by day basis. It's as we come up to the events, Trip and the bass staff are monitoring the situation on hand, the pandemic that's going on, and it's just it's day by day, tournament by tournament, and they are postponing them as we come up to them right now. It's just a little too dangerous for anybody to be traveling across country right now, and it'll have to ease up a good bit before we get back started, and that's what we know as of now. It's hard to say when we'll start again. I mean, as you guys know, it's hard to predict anything right now with all this going on. So a lot of unknowns. So they're just taking it day by day and being safe and doing the right thing and postponing. I mean, we don't need to be putting people's lives in danger. The bass staff, those guys traveling, us traveling, it's just an unnecessary spread of our exposure to us spreading germs or contaminating ourselves and our family and loved ones. And they're doing the right thing.
Right. I agree. I mean, it's we got a lot of guys over here that are still running some smaller tournaments. They're doing their best to promote the social distancing, only allowing a few guys at the weigh in at a time, and that's how we're kind of keeping it trying to keep it safe here. Of course, not as big a stage as what you're used to fishing, where there's thousands of
Right.
people that show up for the weigh-ins and everything. Um, got a first question. Jeremy Stevens wants to know what your local lake is.
My local lake is Lake Falsey Point. It's a little glorious little mud hole, is how I like to describe it. You get a half an inch of rain, it rolls mud, but it's a special little lake. I mean, it's not very big at all. I've cut my teeth fishing in it. It's the deepest spot in the whole lake is 6 foot, and it's a fun little lake. When it's right, it gets right, but it does get a little tough, but that's part of fishing.
Hey, they're all tough, man. I mean,
That's right.
they're all tough sometimes, anyway. Um, well, Damian Clements, I guess you know him really well. He
Yeah.
wants to know is crabbing as easy as bass fishing? Asking for a friend.
So, yeah, the last couple of days we went on a little crabbing expedition, me and the family, and the first day was kind of a bust. So, not to be had by some crabs, which I know how to catch. We went to a different spot yesterday and caught our limit pretty easy, and he's giving me a hard time because we didn't catch him the first day.
So that's a good question. I saw the Facebook post. Those crabs look really good, actually. Um, so I guess a couple weeks ago, before everything just kind of went crazy, you were coming back up from the tournament in Florida, did a little pre-fishing up north. You came by, got to see the new Express boat. And that's a little different than what we're used to seeing most of the pro anglers fish in the traditional, 21-foot fiberglass. Tell me, are you enjoying the Express? What's the pros and cons compared to that out of the traditional fiberglass boat that we see most bass fishermen fishing out
Yeah,
of?
you know, I tell everybody the same. You know, when I made my decision, I was skeptical at first, just because it was nothing that my first just thought that popped in my head was I didn't want to make it tougher on myself to fish the tour than it already is. But after just doing my homework, and it didn't take much homework at all, I figured out that this was the boat that was right for me, for the way I like to fish, and I wasn't at any disadvantage. It took one day out on the water with rough water, and I realized that this boat can do anything that a glass boat can do. It can float shallower than any glass boat can, and it just has the full deck layout as a glass boat. It's just I'm at no disadvantage. Is the best way I can explain it. And with the advantages of some, like I can float shallower than I've ever floated, troll shallower, I'm not having to push. I mean, as high as I can get that trolling motor prop out of the water, it'll pull that boat. Rough water capabilities are 3 people at one time already. So there was 4 people in my boat, and the boat handle was fine. You know, it wasn't a lot of weight shifting, and the boat isn't noisy. It's just got a ton of benefits. I can go on and on and on. I really, really love it. I mean, I took it crabbing yesterday, and crabbing, as anybody knows, is not a clean type of fish. You don't go and not get something muddy, dirty, stinky, or something. And I'm fortunate enough to have the sea deck in the Express, and we took it out there. We did that, and you know, a quick hose down and scrub of the sea deck, and everything's clean. And I'm liking it a lot.
Got a hello from the Boondocks Bass Fishing. You know those guys?
I'm not too sure I do. I tell them, said hi. How's it going, guys?
Appreciate y'all watching today. Like I said, this is the first time we've really been able to try this, and we hope to do it more in the future. Damien asked again, is Express working with you to provide you with the perfect bass boat?
Constantly, you know, that's one thing that weighed heavily on my decision to go to them is they take in our input. We spend hours upon days upon months in these boats at the end of the year. By the time the year's over with, and we had little feedback, little things that we'd like to see, and they're taking that into consideration, and they're willing to make the changes to the boat, and that's huge for a company to do that. So they are, you know, their goal is to make the perfect bass rig, bass boat, and they're taking the guys that spend the most time in the boat's opinions on it.
That's great.
I got a battery issue. I'm gonna take 2 seconds to plug in real quick.
All right. For everyone commenting about my orange shirt, it is an official Bruin Outdoors shirt. So all the people who are sending me text messages and asking me why I'm wearing opposing team colors, this is Bruin. It's official. Leave me alone. Thank you.
That's Auburn? No, I don't see any blue.
We got a lot of Auburn folks in the office, so we try to keep it civil. But you know, this is Bruin. This is Bruin. John Skipper, who is a really good friend of mine, former FLW co-angler champion, has asked if you could have one bait to use year-round, what would it be and why?
One bait to use year-round. Man, I'd hate to say the cliche jig, because every time a pro gets asked that, that's what they say. So I'm gonna go, and that is true. You can do anything with a jig. You can throw it, you can drag it, you can swim it. I mean, there's just everything you can do with a jig. I'm gonna have to say, there's not a place in the country you can't catch a fish on a D-bomb. I mean, it's just a 4 1/4 inch flipping bait. That bait right there, I go through, I don't know. Oh, there we go. I don't know how many I go through that bait a year. You can Carolina rig it. You can use it as a jig trailer, punch it, flip it. It's a great bait. So it's hard to not to say D-bomb. D-bomb's been a staple to my career and getting my career going. So it's D-bomb for sure.
Good answer. I like the D bomb too. It's one of my favorite baits. But nobody cares what I think. Uh, Kevin Crawford said, "Why is the 6.2 your favorite speed for the new Bruin reel?"
So I throw spinner baits and chatter baits and a lot of swim baits, stuff like that. Crankbaits, deep cranking. It's such a versatile reel. So I have about roughly 15 to 18 6.2 setups, whether it's square bill, deep diving crankbaits, spinner baits, chatter baits, anything. I'm coming back with that steady cadence, or that's what I'm using it for.
And point out the new Bruin reels. They do come in 4 different ratios. We've got a 5 with the wide or the deeper spool for the guys that like the more line for the deeper cranking.
Yep.
And then we got the 6, which is the kind of all around reel like you were just talking about. And then we've got a 7 and an 8. So we've kind of hit every, hopefully what we believe is every fisherman's sweet spot, with the different ratios. We tried to put out the 4 top ratios. A lot of folks aren't making those, low ratio cranking reels anymore. We felt like that was an area that was kind of being underserviced, and that's why we brought that reel back into play a little bit.
Yep.
So we've me and you, we've talked fishing before. We talked it while you were up here. We text back and forth from time to time. You're definitely what we call a power fisherman. You told me you like to flip, you like to that grass. Tell us about what your perfect setup for that is. Kind of give us an idea on the knots you tie, the hooks you use, the line you like to use, and what your go-to bait is for that.
Yeah, I mean, look, anybody that knows me, it doesn't take long to figure out my favorite technique out there is punching. I love to put the trolling motor on, get around some matted grass, and flip a big weight. And that is just my favorite way to catch fish. I can do it all day long. I can do it for 5 fish a day. If I feel like I can get 5 big bites a day, that's what I'm going to do. I had a top 4. I finished 4th place at Gunnersville last year punching in June. And in June on Gunnersville, they're typically on the ledges. But I did what I thought I could do to get bites, numbers of bites, and it worked out. So, gave that event a scare for the win, and it's my favorite technique. So, what I have here, I have a rod set aside. It's just when I'm punching, this is a 710 heavy moderate. It's what that is. It's not an extra heavy. It's just got a parabolic bend to it, and it helps.
And that's a Kistler, right?
It's a Kistler Z-Bone. I'm sorry about that. I was going to get to that, but yeah, it's a Kistler Z-Bone, heavy moderate 710, and all that's doing is I probably can't show you on the camera, but it's a parabolic bend. It's not a super stiff rod. It doesn't jack a giant hole in the fish's face when you do hook them, and it keeps a lot more fish pinned. And on there, I have the Bruin Series 8-to-1 super fast gear ratio reel. That's once you do get a fish hooked, you want to. I mean, dude, that head comes above the water. I'm skull dragging them to the boat. I'm not there for the fight. I'm there to get the fish in the boat. So I'm trying to take up as much slack in the line as I can, and that's why I use the fast gear ratio when I'm flipping. In the knot I like to tie 65. This is 60-pound Sunline X plasma braid, 50 around sparse cover, 60 or above in super heavy cover. I actually don't have a bobber stop, but a bobber stop would go on that line right there. This is just a 1/2-ounce sinker. I got a little 1/2-ounce sinker, but that's just because I was flipping some bushes that slid a bend the other day. And that's a super heavy cover Gamakatsu, a 5/0, probably my favorite flipping hook. And this is the knot I tie 90% of the time when I'm punching. It's just a quick snell knot. I'm gonna come in, make a quick loop. I don't know how well you guys can see that. Just a quick loop and hold it right there along the shaft, and I'm gonna make 3 to 5 loops. Not many. You don't need a full. You don't need 4 or 5. Say you only 7 or 8 loops. So I think it's 4 right there. You take your little tag in. Ooh, I don't know why I'm backwards today. You take that tag in, and I'm gonna go take the tag in. I'm gonna go through that loop there, and just cinch it down. Take your excess. Snip that off. And what that's going to do, what that snell knot does is your weight's sitting right there. Your bobber stop's going to be right above your weight. And when that fish gets that bait in their mouth, it kicks that hook out. No matter which way, kicks that hook out. So if you hold it here, like it's inside a fish's mouth, it always cinches down. That's the benefits of the snell knot. And pair that with a missile based D-bomb. I can't tell you guys the amount of fish I've caught on the D-bomb. That's it. That is my go-to. Pair this, take this half-ounce sinker, depending on the grass. The key to punching, this is the number one key to punching, is finding the rate of fall that the fish want. You don't want to overpower a mat of grass. You don't want to flip a 2-ounce weight where you can get away with a 3/4. You want the weight just heavy enough to where you flip in there and it falls in, or you have to work it a little bit to go in. You don't want to overpower the mat. So that's the biggest key to punching that I can tell people. And so 9 times out of 10, I'll have a 3/4 to 1.5 ounces here, sometimes 2 2-ounce weight if the cover's heavy enough.
Awesome. So before we go, let's remind everyone once again, we are giving away some prizes after the video today. One of those, of course, is a brand new Bruin Outdoors Paul Elias Legend Series Bruin Outdoors reel.
Yep.
We're going to do that in a 6.2, which is your favorite go-to reel. We're doing some Cajun Boss spinner baits and swim baits, swim baits, or excuse me, swim jigs. Stuttering all over myself here. And we're going to do a Spro and missile pack also. So we're going to have 3 winners. All you got to do is like the video, maybe tag a buddy. But really all you got to do is like the video, and you're going to be in the chance for the draw. And we're going to do that later on this afternoon. Got a question from John Skipper again, talking about your snell knot. With the snell knot, do you ever tie an overhand knot on tag to keep it from slipping?
I never have, and I can't say that I've ever had that issue. That's interesting. I've never heard of anybody doing that, but it's an interesting concept if it does. But one thing that I do is when you do have the tag, I like to back pull that tag real tight and then cinch down my main line. So it's like I'm sucking up all the slack to where I don't want any movement in that knot whatsoever, because when I set the hook, I feel that knot moves even a little bit, it's a weak point. And so I really try to cinch down back on the tag in and then on the main line, and that's my final pull on the main line, and I cut my tag in.
Kevin Crawford wants to know what kind of fluoro do you use, and what size is good all around?
9 times out of 10. I use Sunline FC Sniper. If I'm flipping like heavy fluorocarbon, I'll use the Sunline shooter. But 9 times out of 10, I'm using the FC Sniper. It's hard to get away from 16-pound tests. I throw a lot of my spinner baits on it, chatter baits. When I'm throwing around a missile baits 48, that's when I'm throwing it on 16-pound tests. You can do some light flipping with it. So I'm a real simple guy. I run 10 and 12 for various cranking setups, 16-pound, 20-pound, and 25. And then I'll have like an 8-pound leader for my drop shots. That's the only size fluorocarbons I carry. I don't get into the 18s, the 22s. I just keep it real simple. And the only reason I get technical with my cranking line is between the 10 and the 12 is sometimes the 10 will get you a little more depth out of, say, a 6XD or a Sproul Little John DD when you need to grind down the bottom end of a long cast. So, and when I'm in a little more cover, I'll go to the 12-pound test. But other than that, what I have on my reel is 16-pound test to 20-pound test or 20-pound test.
Clay Elliott would like to know, says, how do you deal with being away from your family for a week longer at a time? Clay used to fish the FLW, and he says it was hard on him being away from his family.
Yeah, man. The job I had before this, it required me being gone a lot. Even when I worked from home, from driving to work every day, I was working, 12 to 14-hour days every day, sometimes on the weekends. And then I took a job before we left where I was working a 5 and 2 schedule out of town. So I was gone all week, home for the weekend. And so it didn't make it easier, but the only way I'm able to do this because I have the wife I have. JC has been the staple in my career in doing this. I could not do it without her. I mean, I know she wants to pull her hair out raising these kids when I'm away, but she does it like a champ. And like I said, I owe it all to her. I can't tell you how many times I thank her probably don't thank her enough, but I know she's probably watching. But she is the reason I'm able to do it. I mean, it is hard, but we FaceTime every day, multiple times a day, and it helps seeing the kids. And I'm getting a lot of home time right now, and so I'm kind of soaking that up.
Yeah, tell me, you talked about your previous job, being away for periods of time. That was in the oil fields, right, or the oil rigs.
Yep.
Yeah. So you had mentioned, I guess, when we first sat down and started talking about you being a part of the the Bruin team, the Bruin family. You had mentioned that I guess one day you just realized you just didn't want to do that anymore. You wanted to be a fisherman. So kind of, I guess, elaborate on that a little bit. Tell us what's driving you to be a professional fisherman. Why you want to do that compared to what you were doing before.
Well, long story short, because it is a good story, but it's long, and I was working in the oil field I was on my 12th year, a little bit over my 12th year, and right out of high school, no college degree, just busted my tail and got to where I was, and I had a good job, good family supporting job, benefits, and the whole 9 yards. And I enjoyed what I did. It was very stressful, but I enjoyed what I did. It's what I knew, and I worked with a lot of great people, and people like Damien. Damien was a good friend of mine, but I worked with him and a lot of people that I considered family, and it was a good job. And things got tough in the oil field, and long story short, I got laid off, and I was home for 2 months. And I previously qualified through the Bass Nation to fish the national championship, and I went fish it and ended up winning the thing, and got a classic berth and an Elite Series invite. So I went from without a job to fishing the Elite Series the next year. And I told myself if I can make it through that first year financially, it'd be hard for me to not continue to do it. And we're making it, man. It's we're not getting rich, but we're keeping the lights on. It's what I tell everybody. Everybody's like, man, you gotta love that. I was like, you making a lot of money. I was like, you know what? It's still stressful. I'm putting my faith out there in a little bunch of green fish swimming around the lake, and they can humble you sometimes. And it's just I had to learn a lot quick, and I feel like I did okay at that. I feel like there's some areas I still need to improve, and never stop learning is the mentality I have. Is try to stay outdoors, fish as much as I can, and learn each time I go out, and learn from information everybody else puts out, and continue to grow as an angler. And I'll be doing this a long time.
Yeah. Well, from the picture behind you or the wall behind you, we can tell maybe you're a pretty good hunter too,
Oh,
not just fishing.
man, dude, I'm an outdoors guy, dude. I mean, I'm telling you, I probably grew up country as they come. We actually drove by some of the places I used to live when I was a kid, and dude, I used to live in the country. I'm talking, we didn't have PlayStation. What I got for Christmas presents was shotgun shells, and
Yeah.
then I was in the field and I was going to shoot some doves or some ducks, and I was shooting ducks before I catch the bus in the morning. That's how country I grew up. So I was always in the woods. My grandpa grew up hunting. My dad grew up hunting and fishing, and that's just how I grew up, and that's all I know. I know how to go out, and I love it. I just love it.
Uh, Clay wants to know: do you tie Palomar knot on your fluorocarbon?
I do not. Um, Actually, man, I wish I had some. It doesn't work well with braid, but I can try to explain it the best I can. My number one fluorocarbon knot is the best way I can explain it. I don't even know if it has a name, but it's an old school fisherman's knot. I can do it with this braid. I'll show you. It's never break it, and this is the knot I tie every other time. I tie a Palomar knot on my frogs and my swim jigs with braid or buzz bait. And the other knot I tie when I'm cranking or flipping with fluorocarbon, this is the knot I'll tie. It's an old school fisherman's knot, but the secret is, or I say the secret, the deal is you're going to double it. So I'm going to pass it through there, and I'm going to take a good bit of slack, and I'm going to come back through the hole. Need a little more slack. So I have 2 loops going through this hook here. I'll double that up. I'm trying to take out a lot of slack so you guys can see. Probably best you can. I'm going to take my loop side, and I'm going to wrap it 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you just go through the top 2 loops. There's two. This is not working well with braid, but I'm trying to make do with what we got. And then you just cinch everything down. So you have 3 tag ends. There you go. You can see. Once I cut that, you have 3 tag ends coming off the top of that knot. And the reason I do that with fluorocarbon is you have two loops of fluorocarbon in the line tie of the hook. And that gives you a little more tensile yield when you do set the hook with fluorocarbon. I feel like that 1 loop knot going through a line tie is a little too weak. Why do that when you can do 2? So I just double that knot up, and I never have any issues.
Joey, and I'm going to have a hard time pronouncing that last name. We're just going to say Joey P. Wants to know: have you bought any Teckle honker frogs after Rayburn last year?
Oh yeah. I do have a few of them. Not a sponsor, but I do have them.
Let's see. John Skipper back again says, would you rather get on a good top water bite or a flipping bite?
Both. Trick question. Both.
Both. No such thing as a bad bite in fishing, is there?
That's right.
Ted Hamilton wants to know: snacks on the boat. Ideas?
Man, I probably don't eat that well on the boat, man. I'm easy. During the tournament, I don't eat nothing. I seriously don't take a bite of anything during the tournament. Practice, I've starting to learn that you do have to bring some good snacks with you. So if I can make some sandwiches, dude, I just do bread and ham, and maybe like some pack of Ritz crackers, and plenty of water, and that's how I roll. I'm not complex. I just I keep it simple. I'll get a candy bar, maybe every other day or something. But
That was actually, he ruined my rapid fire questions for later. That's one of the questions I was going to ask you.
really,
Ted's I fish with Ted. He's a peanut butter uncrustable guy. He loves the uncrustables. So if you haven't tried those, Caleb, try those. They're pretty easy.
I'm gonna try it and check it out.
So going back, you mentioned you like the Bruin, the 8-1 Bruin reel for flipping. Uh, and I'll get to another question from John after this. But you've had the Bruins in your hand for a few months.
Yep.
And I just kind of give me your thoughts on the Bruin reels, and don't sugarcoat it just because you're a Bruin guy now. We like everybody to know the truth. We want everybody to know what's really going on. So give me give me what you like, and even tell me if there's any dislikes you have about the reels. So just break Bruin down for me real quick.
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to get my hands on 3 gear ratios before the classic, and this was my first time using them. So I spooled them up and practiced to where I could get a good feel with them. I wasn't gonna, just try them first day of the tournament. I wanted to catch a couple fish on them and get a feel for them. So it took not long at all to realize it was a very legit reel. You can tell a solid reel from a cheaply made reel really quick. That's the way I don't want to say it cheap, like I don't want to say like, but if you pick up a $99 reel or a $50 reel, you feel it. You can feel it click through the entire reel. It just feels like it's made of plastic. And I'm not talking down about any reels, but you feel it. So I could tell that this was not that, and it was a solid, well-built reel. And I was throwing that first day of practice. We had 20-mile-an-hour winds at the northwest, and I was throwing a trap and a chatterbait a lot. And man, dude, I had no problems adjusting the 3 different settings that you have of cast control. 80 total points.
80 total points of cast control. I don't know if we can get that to where everybody can see it.
80 total points. Just 80
there's your cast control right there. You've got 80 points of settings there to help you get it dialed in.
Yep. So you have 3 main settings in the center dial, which I believe it's the magnets, right?
Right.
The three main dials of the magnets, and then you have your finer tuning adjustments on the outside for each 3, and then you have your main dial on the right side of the reel too. Dude, I was throwing into the wind with no problems, and I hadn't had any issues. The real test for it was when a couple days later in practice, and I knew you're going to learn how a reel holds up when you start punching. You're flipping an 1.5 ounce weight on straight braid. There's zero slack. I've blown up more reels punching than I have doing anything else. It's the hardest thing on the reel that there is. And I've had some reels, brand new reels, flipping for 3 or 4 days, and you'll start feeling them start to grind. Like they just couldn't handle the winching, especially on the faster gear ratio reel. And dude, I didn't have that with this reel. I caught several fish. I've yanked on several fish. I've gotten hung up, and I've pulled my line to the point where I've, gotten my hook and weight back, and the reel performs fine. Dude, I have nothing bad to say about the reels. Nothing. It's just a great reel, and I can't wait to convert all the way over to them. I'm at a disadvantage until I do.
That's great to hear. Of course, we've this reel program has been in the making for several years, and it's something that we've poured our our heart and soul into to make sure we're bringing a quality product to the fishermen. And these are reels that you can compare to other manufacturers that are selling reels for $299 to $350. And this is a reel you're going to get for less than 200. So it's we're excited. We're in love with them. I mean, we've been fishing with them also, so we're just extremely pleased. We're happy that you're happy. Of course, we're happy that Paul is happy. It's his name on the reel, and he's in love with them also. So big things coming from Bruin. These are going to be available for sale to the public, hopefully within the next couple of weeks. And I think once people put them in their hands, they're going to be a believer. Uh,
Absolutely.
which brings me to John Skipper's next question. Uh, he asked, with the new reel, have you put it through the test with braid and heavy flipping or frogging, which you said you have. So he wants to know, what's the biggest fish that you've caught on the Bruin so far?
I caught a 6 1/4.
6 1/4.
6 1/4.
And no problems getting that beast in the boat.
Oh no. It was actually where what? I was at the Little Bend and I flipped in a bush and just I mean I went straight out and 3 or 4 times she was in the boat. And that's like I said, when I'm flipping, you gotta have the gear ratio. You have to pick up as much slack line as you can, and it was barely even a fight. And yeah,
Clay Elliott's asking another good question. Says, will we have a Caleb line of rods coming, or rods again in general? Don't know about a Caleb line of rods because he is tied in with Kistler right now. So we can't, obviously don't want to upset the apple cart there any, but he is using the reels. As for Bruin rods, Clay, they're in discussion. We're looking for the best factory, and that's all the information I can give you right now as far as that goes. But I promise you, if we do it, it will be done right. Like I said, so you've done it twice now. And when I say you've done it twice, I'm talking about you've walked across that stage at the Bassmaster Classic.
yep.
This was your second year that you had qualified. Um, I mean, that's like every guy that's coming up fishing, whether it be in the high school ranks or the college ranks or whatever, that is their goal. To me, is to get to the Bassmaster Classic. And you ask any kid, what do you want to do? Well, yeah, all these other tours are great. Of course, we love Major League Fishing, we love the FLW. But in my opinion, and the opinion of many others, the Classic is like, man, it's just
It's the pinnacle.
it's the pinnacle. What's it like?
Man, sorry about that.
Sorry. What's it like walking across that stage?
I tell everybody, everybody, what I get asked a lot is, man, what was your favorite part of the Classic? And I tell everybody the same, man. The stage is cool. Don't get me wrong. The stage is cool. Walking across that stage is cool. But the part that gets me more fired up than anything is that morning blast off. You have 50, 80 boats watching you blast off. You got the music playing. You got a giant crowd watching you about to blast off. That's the part that gets me fired up. The adrenaline of doing that, coming back and crossing the stage, it's an experience in itself. Now, ask me that again after I drop a 20-pound, 25-pound bag on the big stage, and then I might have a different outlook on my favorite part of the Classic. But as of right now, my favorite part of the Classic is the morning blast off for sure.
Yeah, that's there's really, no matter what level you're fishing on, there's really not much anything better than to hear those boat motors roaring and
right.
Just shooting out of the hole to get to your spot, man. It is an awesome feeling. It really is. I mean, that's really just about all I've got. I don't really see any additional questions coming across right now. We've had some good interaction. Hopefully we can do this again, in a few more weeks if you're just absolutely bored to death and want somebody to talk to. But like I said, I did have some questions to end this on, and I'll skip the one about the snacks since Ted already asked it. So we're going to do 4 rapid fire questions. First thing that comes to your mind. All right. Favorite lake to fish?
Gunnersville.
Favorite bait to throw on that lake?
Ooh, D-bomb.
Favorite thing to do when not fishing?
Hunting.
Favorite college football team?
LSU, baby.
I was really expecting to go Tigers instead of LSU. But,
oh yeah.
All right, we won't hold that against you, man.
There's too many Tigers out there. So there's an Auburn Tiger, there's a Clemson Tiger. I had to be specific.
Yeah. Well, buddy, I appreciate it, man. Like I said, we're super excited. We don't like to use the word team when we talk about everybody around here. So we're super excited to have you as part of the Bruin family and the Sportsman's family. We think we truly believe you're one of the biggest up and coming stars there is in bass fishing, and we're looking forward to great things.
Absolutely.
Before we go, John Skipper's asking, would you be willing to talk to some high school anglers next year in this area?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, dude, Facebook message me. If I'm in passing or we're there for a tournament and I can do it, and I'd be glad to. You know, I've done it a couple times around the area here. It's just, yeah, if we can plan it out and just message me, get my contact info, and maybe we can plan it out. I'd be glad to.
Awesome, man. Always, you got to keep the kids involved because that's the future of the sport.
It is.
All right. Well, again, I appreciate it, man. Everybody go check out Caleb's Facebook page. Give him some love. It's Caleb Sumrall Fishing. Be sure you like that, comment. Be sure you comment on this video. We're going to leave it up until about 4 o'clock today so everyone can watch it, comment, share. And then we're going to do some drawings after that. So be on the lookout for that. We'll tag you. You'll have your prizes within the next week or so. And thanks, everybody, for stopping by. We'll see you next time.
Thank y'all. Have a good one.